of others across the country we love, to say no. We want to send a message to any wannabe dictator, any elected, unelected, ignorant billionaire, and other greedy and selfish millionaires who think they own our money, our votes, our bodies, our civil rights. We are here to say hands off. Hands off agencies that track diseases. Hands off Meals on Wheels. Hands off veterans benefits. Hands off cancer research for children. Medicaid. Regulations for childhood, protecting childhood lead poisoning. This is a peaceful protest. Please respect each other. If you disagree, don't talk over each other. Be careful of the umbrellas, hugging each other in the eyes. Bathrooms are across the street in the Chamber of Commerce or up the street at Dunkin' Donuts. Our speakers will circulate among the crowd and will be happy to answer questions you may have. Let's leave here a better community. Okay, our first speaker is Emily here.
Oh, yeah. Emily!
Karis Duncan, our Vermont State Rep. Come on up.
Oh, thanks for having me. Oh, gosh.
I know, right?
Here we go. We're along with
Okay,
things.
all right.
All right. Hi, everybody. How you doing, everybody? Thank you all so much for being here. I want to take a couple moments to talk to you all about freedom and privacy. For over 20 years, we've lived in a culture lured into the promise of connection, openness, innovation, efficiency, and maximum freedom. They built these systems to exclude many of us.
That's right.
This combined with implicit bias can increase surveillance of all of us who are not included in these systems. And these invasive technologies, with these invasive technologies, we have to ask ourselves, who are we keeping safe? And who gets to be free under these technologies?
Woo! Yep.
They hear our conversations, they track our strides, they look into our bank accounts, into our work history, they track our movements, our facial recognition without our knowledge and consent. And for all of our information, they can track our loved ones, our communities, in a surveillance that's built on hoarded public data in the name of safety, freedom, and convenience. This is stalker behavior disguised as protection and efficiency.
That's right. Yep.
They would tell us that we would tell any one of our loved ones that this is a horrible relationship. We would say, get out of this relationship.
Yep.
It is unsafe for us as adults, it is unsafe for our society, and it is unsafe for our children.
Yes. Yes.
Our freedom is not something that is given to us, it's something that we must work for. There are mechanisms to our freedom. Mechanisms like possibility and ambition, working for the common good, a mutual reliance on one another, and privacy. I was raised in a Vermont that values privacy. We love being outdoors in the woods, playing and frolicking where no one can bother us. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? We still have our rights and we must continue to fight for them. Freedom is hard work and is hard won. They may come into our state house, they may come into my committee and tell me that we can't protect ourselves. They might come into our state house and come into my committee and say that this will harm, any protections will harm their business. But what I say is that we're from Vermont and we do what we want.
Anne Manuel is coming up. She's going to read a statement from our Congresswoman in Washington. Becca Balance. Here's Anne.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Karen. This is so wonderful. I'm sure Becca would love to be here today, but she's in her hometown, Brattleboro, giving her own...
Yeah, this feeds right into the middle.
How can you hear that? Yeah, okay. All right. So she has sent a statement and asked me to read it to you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you all so very, very much. So this is Becca's statement.
Hang on there.
Now, can you hear me?
Yeah, real close to your mouth.
Thank you so much for turning out today. It matters. It really does.
It does.
In this moment, we desperately need to come together and find our courage. And we must ignite that courage in others. That's what we do when we come together like this. We find our bravery. And as others see that bravery, they feel they can do a little more or can speak up a little more.
Yes.
And have challenging conversations and move people to action. When we do this, we all see a little more light where before we felt anxiety and despair. And I know from speaking with Vermonters and Americans across this country, people are tired. They're overwhelmed. They're scared. And they feel powerless. And sometimes they tell me they feel paralyzed. So how do we move beyond this feeling? How do we get focused? How do we stay energized? We get our energy from each other, from our collective action and voices. On Tuesday, Wisconsin told Elon Musk, we won't be bought. After the millions of dollars put into a race to back a right-wing candidate, Wisconsin said, hell no!
Hell no!
And hands off our election. In the end, it wasn't even close. His millions didn't matter. The many defeated the money. This win may feel small in comparison to what we are all up against, but it's about building big momentum. It's about giving us energy. So I want folks to remember, do what you can, when you can, because it matters. Okay. I'm all right. I'm going good. Pick your one thing. Become an expert on that issue and use your voice to educate others. And this is important. Despite your fear, your anxiety, and your rage, please do not expect perfection from yourself or others. Give each other grace and latitude. We are not going to do things perfectly. We all have energy and fight within us. We must use it. And that's why it is important to be together today, to resist this, to stand together and chart a new way forward. Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, is trying to buy elections and destroying our government from the inside. He's got his hands on every federal agency that provides essential support for working people, firing all the folks who deliver federal support to Americans most in need. So I think he better get his hands out of our business, out of our Social Security, out of our Medicare, out of our schools, out of our doctor's offices, out of our personal private information. And it has become so obvious that Elon Musk and the cabinet are incompetent. These people want us to fear them, but they are not worthy of our fear. They're worthy of our rage. And we're going to turn that rage and focus into commitment. Always follow the money. Who benefits and who gets kicked in the teeth. They don't give a damn about working people. They don't give a damn about us. Almost done.
Go Nan.
Almost done.
Go Nan. We're with you. No hurry for us. We're here. We're not going anywhere. That's right.
We have to use our voices and demand Elon Musk and Donald Trump get their hands off our Medicaid, our Social Security, our jobs, our wallet, our data, our courts, our free speech, NATO, our schools, our bodies, our healthcare, our science, away from veterans, hands off our rights, our freedoms, and our liberties. Woo-hoo! Let's turn our anger and frustration and anxiety into a commitment to fight for this country we all love deeply. Find your courage, find your voice, and know that in these moments of courageousness and bravery, I am standing with you and trying to do that exact same thing down here in Washington. Do what you can, when you can, show up, give each other grace. All of us here today, we are the energy, we are the movement. We will fight back the darkness together.
It's terrible rainy day.
Put that mic close to your
Oh
mouth.
yeah. Oh yeah. So when I tell people that I'm a librarian, what I often hear is a magical story about their trips to the trips to the library when they were kids. It's a magical place that they discovered when they were young.
Can everybody hear?
In a January issue of the Star Ledger newspaper, Christian Zabrinsky, the director of the Newark, New Jersey Public Library, championed libraries as the place in our society where a heart surgeon and a toddler get the same services, the same dignity, no matter what they are exploring. And while libraries still do treasure books and their readers, library services have expanded to so many different areas, all in an effort to help communities and their members. This past week, the Institute of Museum and Library Sciences, the only federally funded agency that funds libraries, was shut down and defunded. The staff members were first placed on administrative leave, and then they were told that they would be officially dismissed from their jobs in May. In a statement, the American Library Association called this action an assault on libraries. I would go even further and say that this is an attack on the American people. Since the IMLS is not a well-known agency, here's a few things, among others, that the IMLS funds. So the IMLS supports technology training and consulting, allowing libraries to stay current with rapid technology changes. It helps supply free internet access for patrons, a crucial service for rural communities. It provides consultancy to rural libraries and continuing education for librarians. It sustains the ABLE Library, which provides equitable materials and services for the blind and print disabled. Hi, Kevin. Come on in. Come on up, guys. Don't be scared. So it also supports youth and early literacy. It supplies digital resources like databases, ebooks, and audiobooks. It enables resource sharing between small libraries that cannot independently maintain comprehensive collections. These resources are not luxuries. They are essential. Essential to maintaining equity in education, in economic opportunities, and in community well-being. So, since Doge likes to advertise how much money they are saving, let's talk numbers for a minute. The last item on that list was that the IMLS invests in resource sharing, which is a fancy way of saying interlibrary loan.
Right.
The term, at town meeting this year, I stood up in Dover and I proudly said that we were able to get books into the hands of 900 interlibrary loans this year. We took advantage of our statewide courier system. That was double what we did the year before. And that's books that we sent to other libraries and books that were sent to us.
It's getting a little wet.
So the overwhelming majority of those books went through that courier service. If we cannot have that service anymore, if IMLS cannot help us provide those grants, we are facing a dramatic increase in spending. Every single book would have to travel through the United States Postal Service for $5.11 a piece. Where is that money coming from? It's coming from you. This is just one example of the impact of this defunding. So I'm going to talk money for one more minute. The annual budget for the IMLS is a paltry $290 million. And the majority of that money goes straight to libraries. So let's compare that to a 2019 report by the Governmental Accountability Office that estimated that it costs taxpayers about $3.4 million every time Trump traveled to Mar-a-Lago to golf.
To play golf today.
In his first term, that was 145 trips. That equals $493 million for vacation. And that doesn't include the 361 visits he made to his other properties. This is a time to stand up and say, hands off our libraries.
Hands off libraries.
Yesterday, Doge took over the IMLS Instagram page and posted all of the things that they are proud of defunding. Every single item on that list is a thing that I am proud to support. You tell me, do you support addressing systematic racism in libraries?
Yes.
Do you support researching LGBTQ metadata?
Yes.
Do you support diverse staff development?
Yes.
Do you support strengthening librarians' knowledge of LGBTQIA+ health?
Yes.
Do you support social justice programming?
Yes.
And do you support enhancing equitable library programming?
Yes.
These are the things that the administration is advertising as a waste of money. So please, speak up. Reach out to your local representatives. Let them know that Elon Musk does not stand for you.
Yes.
Visit your local library. Let them know that you support them. And do not let them take away your freedom to speak, your freedom to think, and your freedom to read.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Laura Sibilia, State Representative for the towns of Dover, Wardsboro, Stratton, Somerset, and Jamaica in the Vermont House. I co-chair the legislature's nonpartisan National Guard and Veterans Affairs Caucus. Here in the Valley, I helped form and lead
I get it.
the Deerfield Valley Troop Support Group
Yes.
after 9/11.
Yes.
I also come from a large family of career combat veterans. But today, I am speaking first and foremost as a military mom. My daughter, a nurse, is currently deployed in the Middle East alongside many other Americans' sons and daughters. What's happening to our military under this administration is dangerous, disrespectful, and a complete disgrace.
Yes.
Let's start with the VA. Yes. The Veterans Administration, after years of being understaffed, finally had the resources and staffing to begin implementing the PACT Act and care for veterans exposed to burn pits and toxic substances.
Yes.
And now, the VA is cutting over 80,000 positions. 80,000! How do you slash VA staff when our veterans are just beginning to get the help that they deserve? That is not fiscal responsibility. That is a betrayal!
Yes.
And while we continue to send troops into unstable regions, this administration is bringing home qualified, trained, committed service members because of their gender identity. A recent Pentagon memo gave transgender service members just 30 days before separation proceedings begin. These are Americans who passed every requirement and served with distinction. And we're sending them home. Why? Because they are transgender. That is discrimination, plain and simple. It weakens our military and it makes us all less safe. And let's talk about Signalgate. High-ranking Pentagon officials, including Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, used unsecured signal chats to discuss sensitive military operations. That isn't just reckless, it's unforgivable.
Yes.
It is a blatant disregard for the lives of our service members.
Right.
Every single person, like my daughter, serving in hostile territory, deserves leaders who will do everything in their power to protect them and who will never, under any circumstance, jeopardize their safety for convenience or negligence. This is a betrayal.
Yes.
Secretary Hegseth has shown gross incompetence, and for what? To play fast and loose with our military security. He must resign. And we must defend accountability for this incompetence. This is not about left or right. This is about honor and integrity. This is our commitment to the people who serve this country. I have had it with the disrespect. I've had it with the cruelty disguised as policy. And I've had it with political stunts that hurt our military and their families. So I am here and I'm speaking out and I'm asking you to do the same.
Yes.
And now I want to speak to you all about how grateful I am to see you here today. I am so sorry to say we are in trouble, my friends, and it's going to take all of us. This is what we are going to have to do. We are going to have to stand up, come together, and we are going to have to fight. And I will be with you every step of the way. Thank you.
I want you to just take a moment to feel that cold, and to feel that rain, and to know that this rain is going to be the very cold rain that will turn the flowers into blooms this summer, and will turn our protests into a movement. I want to take just a few minutes to talk about you, talk about your health, the health of this community, the health of this state, the health of this nation, and actually the health of this world, all of which not only are under threat, but have been eroded in these past few months. Okay, so hold this up again. This is One Health. This is One Health. Human health, animal health, the environment. That's what forms One Health. And all the things that contribute to it are now being eroded and under fire. I'm just going to give you a few examples in these few minutes. The Department of Health and Human Services has been decimated. Over 10,000 people have been laid off. The communications departments in all the 12 agencies of HHS eliminated. They're the ones that would have been telling you what's going on. They are gone. The FDA, 3,500 people laid off, who are the ones who are looking after your food.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, are they protesting us?
Yeah.
Okay. The FDA looking after food, drugs, medical devices, veterinary medicines as well. CDC, 2,400 people laid off. They're supposed to be focusing on infectious diseases. They just eliminated the HIV program that helped women with HIV around maternal transmission to their infants. Gone. The Global Health Center, gone. Chronic diseases, the funding for that under CDC, gone. That's obesity, that's heart disease, cancer, gone. Vaccines. All of that research as well as the communications about vaccines has been severely eliminated or cut back. Thank you. The environment. You no longer will be able to find out what's going on with radiation damage, with heat damage, with those environmental factors that directly impact your health. NIOSH, the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, gutted. They are the first responders in emergencies like fires as well as mine disasters. They also set the standards for our workers to be safe. NIH, so central to research in America and around the world. Biomedical research, medical treatments, vaccine research, all slashed. Just to finish with a few more examples, there are agencies you've probably never heard of, like AHRQ, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality.
Yes.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
We're ending with USAID. That one helps to create the outcome measures so we know what the heck is actually happening out of our efforts to promote and to improve health. Lastly, CMS, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid. Those programs similarly gutted. The free care that's now offered in Vermont through the FQHCs, the federally qualified health centers, including dental care, mental health care, nutrition, 14 of them, money gutted, gone. And some of the FQHCs have already closed. Medicaid. Vermont's total of $2 billion. The feds pay 65% of that. That will be pretty much gone. Medicare, there's fear now not only about the regular Medicare, but also the dual eligibles, people with both Medicaid and Medicare being slashed, people with disabilities rights, that office closed. Gonna end then with the environment. The entire Environmental Protection Agency gutted. And so now, USAID, thank you. We wanted to end with it because it is our face, our voice, and our spirit in the world, helping people with their health to keep from exchanging and spreading our diseases as theirs, but most importantly, connecting us in the One Health world together. So as we pull out of the UN, we've ended our relationship with WHO. Let us be reminded that this cold rain will turn to the sunshine of the spring, and together we will bring One Health to Vermont, to our community, and to ourselves and the world. Thank you.
As a coach, so if it gets too loud, just let me know and I'll tune it down. But I just also want to let folks know those horns you're hearing, those are support for what we're doing. We are getting that support. Don't misunderstand what that is. So hello, Deerfield Valley. As Karen said, my name is Julie Muller, and I am with all of you to loudly and clearly proclaim, hands off. And as Karen said, I stand here to say hands off LGBTQ plus rights. While I will always be considered a flatlander, my spouse Chris and I have lived in the Deerfield Valley full-time for more than 20 years. I am proud to call my Vermont my home state, the first state that gave same-sex couples the same rights as straight couples with a civil union in 2000. Thank you to our good friend Bob Rustin, who voted in support of that and attended Chris and my civil union back then. And thank you, our minister is also out there as well. The third state to grant full marriage equality in 2009. I remember crying, sitting at my desk, and Ann Manwaring and her colleagues in the Vermont Senate and the House, they cast enough votes to overturn the veto of our then Republican Governor, Jim Douglas. We chose Vermont for many reasons, not least of which is how welcome we have always felt by our community. We love the way folks jump to each other's aid when something goes wrong. A flood, an injury, an illness, a death. And today I ask, if you are not already doing so, to step up for the members of the LGBTQ plus community like me and so many of our neighbors. Folks try to calm us with marriage equality is a settled topic. The Supreme Court made that clear. But let us not forget Roe v. Wade. Right. Even if marriage equality stands, Project 2025 makes it clear that there's an intent to give special funding and privileges to heterosexual couples, to impact access to fertility opportunities for same-sex couples and single folks. The attacks on anything considered DEI is literally trying to erase our identities. In schools, in museums, on federal websites, in libraries. All this is happening despite the fact that, according to a recent poll by Public Religion Research, 67% of Americans support marriage equality. Even greater percentages support non-discrimination laws. But what scares me is that in some cases, these percentages are actually declining. If the kids need to come through.
Yeah, come on, Drew. Come on.
Yeah, we love that you're here. And I'm almost done. I'm concerned for all of us in the LGBTQ plus community. But I'll be honest, the group I fear for most is our transgender folks. I know. I said I was going to be good. So, they are the folks that are among the most marginalized in this world. And the kinds of things that are happening and have been happening since day one are just horrifying. To strip them of their rights, to vilify them in public, and to marginalize a group that is the most marginalized and vulnerable in this country. Please don't buy into the idea that by banning trans girls and women from competing in sports, you're protecting cisgender girls and women. It may feel right, but I promise you there are other ways to mitigate unfair advantages while supporting the needs and the growth of all girls and women. Federal documentation like passports going forward will be required to show the sex assigned at birth. This will automatically put our trans folks in danger while they're traveling, preventing gender-affirming care to minors. It will have a dangerous impact on a group that is always at already highest risk for suicide and suicidal ideation. So here's my wish, and my challenge for all of us. You don't have to understand another's gender identity or sexual orientation. In many ways, our perspectives are limited by our own experiences, but we all can be allies for each other. It wasn't until I moved to Vermont that I began to truly live my life with full visibility. And almost without any exception, I've been met with support and acceptance. As Vermonters, we can be the example that is needed as we stand up and show up for each other. And together say, hands off our LGBTQ+ family. Thank you.